Welcome, everybody, to the Black Sheep and Bad Apples podcast, episode number 9. We are here in Fourth Corner Studios recording again,
Plug.
and I
Plug.
am Sean Hill. We have Sam Mitchell,
Hey everybody, how's it going?
and we also have your host tonight, Loren O'Brien.
Thank you, guys. You couldn't tell this because this isn't on video, but I just bowed to you guys. Well, you guys can tell with the
Yeah,
audience.
we saw that.
So you guys think people who
Unfortunately.
write self-help books are like full of themselves?
Mm.
I was thinking about that the other day, and I was just like,
I think you have to be a little bit. You have to be at least confident with yourself
yeah, because like,
to an argumentable degree.
yeah, and like you write a self-help book, that doesn't mean you're still suffering from the trauma and plight that is.
You
the
think
human
self-help books are
condition.
like taking notes, but in like a sellable form?
Like somebody's like taking notes on themselves, and
They're like
oh, whoa,
they're
why
actually
don't I write this?
Yeah,
I'll
they're
write it
actually
into a
still
story.
helping
People will
themselves by
buy it.
writing a self-help book, but they learn how to profit or sustain helping themselves without
Yeah.
it costing them money.
I mean, obviously you gotta like have some sort of an ego to just write a book in the first place anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe not that doesn't necessarily make it unhealthy, but there's definitely like some of those self-help folks where you're just like, whoa, dude, you need to dial it back.
So
to,
that's
like,
where I was
40%.
That's what I
right
was
now.
thinking. You think if somebody writes a self-help book and it's the worst selling book there is for a whatever period of time, that's like somebody who tried to commit suicide that didn't succeed.
They're like
Where they're like,
botched.
yeah, self-help book, and then they sell no books.
Well,
And they're like, yeah,
I was thinking about it myself, and I was
they're like,
like,
no, bro.
I was
It's
imagining
not, it ain't working.
in the scenario. I was picturing myself as like in a coffee shop and see someone like crying, and go over, introduce myself. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what do you do for a living? Why are you crying? Why are you so down? And they're like, oh, I'm an author. And it's like, oh, what kind of books have you written? And they're just like, how to protect the self from pain. And it's like, well, did you read the book? Did, And then I was like, wait, do
Does
they read
your
their own
advice
books?
work?
Yeah. And so that just occurred to me, and I was like, you know what? They probably don't.
And then
read
I
their
felt-
own
So like
books.
that,
but they got to be full of
the
themselves to a
the
small
Winhoff
degree.
guy. All right, that's
Who's Winhoff?
Winhoff. He does this like cold, like ice bath breathing techniques, self help stuff. I mean, I think a handful of people listening right now know who this Winhoff guy is better than I do. I barely know anything about him, but he strikes me as like you had to be that kind of guy. Like, yeah, you've got to have some sort of an ego to like drive you to like say like what I'm doing is better for you than what you're doing.
Yeah.
No, and that's what I was
Right.
saying.
I was
I
pic-
And you should do the thing I'm suggesting if you want to achieve this, this, and this. And that requires some amount of confidence at least.
Yeah.
I feel like a self-help book is just an explanation of how you did better than the people surrounded around you.
Well, and in that sense, it sounds kind of cultish, you know, or like a pray with snakes
Or
kind
just
of thing.
you know, just the like kind of the ego thing. You're like, yeah, well, I succeeded. You're like,
Trust me, if you
based
pray
on
with
what
snakes,
though?
you're gonna be way closer to God than if you
Well.
don't pray with snakes. And so it's got like I don't know, self-help books just have this culty feel to them, and I don't.
But some of them do for sure. But there's so many books out there. I think that are
But how,
self-help books, but they're just not. They don't have that like handle on them. They're just like a book that has like a good allegory to it that makes you think and changes how you behave. If
Yeah.
for in the better, well, that was technically a self-help book, right?
and that's what I was
yeah.
gonna say is I do feel there's a broad spectrum of self-help books out there where you can be like self-help and depression, and we can all kind of probably go down the depths of like, ah, Jesus, like,
Yeah.
well, my version of that is different. I don't agree with it or whatever. But then there's like self-help financial books.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah.
you know, a bunch of other
Well, and
things
I
that
guess-
just is kind of an educational process that some people have learned and some people have not.
Yeah,
which
and I guess in
I
the
do
sense
appreciate
of like
the resource being
our
out there.
polyamory versus everything else podcast, that book, The Ethical Slut, is more of like these people experienced this thing. They didn't write a self-help book. They wrote like, look, these are the ways that we found out that things work. It's more of like a
Or this is
cognitive
what's
science
worked.
kind of a thing.
This is what's worked for me.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
how I
And
went through it,
people
and
can take
that's
notes or not take notes from there,
and
but
that's where I
the point
kind
of the
of
book.
I
Well,
feel
and
self-help books are. It's like, yo, this is what's worked for me, and I can say I'm successful at this. You've acknowledged as a person, the person author of the book is acknowledging that they are successful at whatever they are doing.
right.
So that confidence, it kind of shows the ego, the whatever, but you have to be able to, at a point, acknowledge that you are successful at something.
I
Yeah.
think if you're going at it from the same standpoint that you would be like, say your friend is having a hard time and you're trying to give them, like, they're asking you for some help in some way and you're trying
Yeah.
to give them advice. The only place that you're going to give them any kind of good advice from is
Your own experience.
your own experience and
Yeah.
things that you did. And you know what I mean? Like, a lot of times, really, all you need to feel a little bit better is just to have somebody there who you tell your thing, they tell their thing to you, and now you feel this camaraderie, like that you have a shared
So
understanding.
do you think self-help books are for people who don't have friends?
No, I'm sure
Why-
there's a self-help book for that.
How to make friends.
How to make friends.
Oh man. So did you
But-
hear about Adventure Time?
Yeah,
Coming back?
yeah.
That little
Wow.
HBO got them on.
Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Adventure Time's good stuff.
Have you seen it, Sean?
I
He's a bitch when
have
it comes
seen-
to cartoons.
something.
Yeah, you don't like Rick and Morty, do you?
Yeah,
Not
he's
that
a
you've seen an
fucking-
episode.
Not
Yeah,
that I
he's
have
never even
watched
No,
even an
Yeah, let's get on
episode.
this topic. What the fuck?
No, I'm the fad of Rick and Morty. I'm not about this whole.
Oh, it's a fad.
It's
just good.
But I can't stand everybody Rick and Morty quoting everything and stuff now. And now it's just everything relates to Rick and Morty, and oh, it's all Rick and Morty, and I'm like, yeah, it's not.
Oh, so
that
you
cool.
hate the pop culture side of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
It's
if people didn't
it's-
like the show, but it was still as clever and witty as it is,
Then
you'd
I'd be like,
If it
yeah,
wasn't
that's
popular, you'd want to
I'd be like, that's kind of cool, but
You'd
I'm
want
like,
to be like the hip guy.
You're that
no, I wouldn't
you're
want to be
that
the hip
grunge of
guy.
a
I'd be
guy.
like,
Yeah,
it'd be a
look at
random
you.
conversation one day where I was like, yo, have you guys seen that Rick and Morty? And you'd be like, oh, dude, yeah, it's really funny. I'd be like, yeah, I thought so too. End of story. But everybody's like, oh, quoting it like, I mean, pulling out Pulp Fiction quotes from back in the, you know what I mean? It's like, it's this fad for a while where I'm just like, I'll wait till it's not on the new release.
Like the Little John. What? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just one of those things for me. So I'm like, when it's off the new release and nobody's excited about Rick and Morty anymore, I'm gonna be like, oh, what's this about? Oh, that's pretty funny.
You're gonna be late to the table because
Yeah.
they're new.
But I'm not trying to be on time to the
and
table.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that season 4, because they're only in season 4, and they've been making it for 10 fucking years or something like that. Comes out I think next week. If today's the 3rd, yeah, comes out in a week.
Try not to think about it.
Oh, I'm totally thinking about it.
No,
I
got a
expect it to
boner
not
thinking about it.
actually come out.
but I'm definitely always that person
No,
that
they're
comes up
releasing
with.
in 5 episodes
I'm definitely always that person that comes up
or something. Like
way too late and is like, says a quote, and you're like, dude, that was
So you've never
that
seen
was
like,
a long time ago, but I find it funny later. I'm like finally catching up on it. I'm definitely the like catch up on something comes out in the theaters and it's on the
Watch
new
on
release
King.
rack, and then I get to it like the year after it's not on the new release rack.
I see. I kind of did that with It's Always Sunny when I first found out that shit.
Yeah, I kind of did the same thing with that, but then I binge watched like every season for a while and just got it out of my system. I was like, cool, got it. That's
See, I'm just really excited because again, Adventure Time is coming to HBO, which also picked up the Boondocks, and now I'm like, I think I'm a fan of HBO, and that startles me.
I've always been a fan of HBO. Plug.
Yeah.
They
like
just
the-
kind of they leave a little raw in there, and that's what I like. They keep the edge in it. They don't worry as much because they're their own
Was that
subscribed
show
station.
Deadwood? Man.
Yeah,
That
they-
was a good show.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. They throw
Yeah, I
in some
never got into
quality. Just we're not going to hold back because regulations thing. It's like no, you subscribe to YouTube, so you're. Or I mean, HBO, so you're getting what you're going to get their product regardless. Don't subscribe if you don't like it.
Right.
And that's why I like it because they're like, yeah, we're going to keep it a little edgy. We're not going to.
There's going to be a bunch of dicks.
A bunch of them. There's
Just bunches of dicks and
possibly
breasts.
more. Yeah.
a lot of sexuality in their
There's definitely a lot of breasts on HBO for sure.
I just of all those like different like pay for our shows, like subscribe to HBO esque production companies. HBO just seems to have the most nudity, like across the board out of
Yeah.
any of them. Somehow,
I always took HBO as like the rated
I
R
don't hate.
channel.
Yeah, yeah, it's exactly the rated
It's
R
meant to
channel.
be rated R, and that's why
Right.
you
extra.
an adult pays for it. You're like, no, I want the rated R channel. I'm an adult. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna not worry about whether or not boobs come out and dicks and whatever
Yeah,
else.
but when I
you
was a
know?
kid, holy fuck, was that a gold mine?
Well,
That was
yeah.
great.
I
Like
mean,
you
you
go
always
on
hoped you had.
HBO, and then after hours they had like their steamy after
Well,
hours
yeah,
session.
dude,
Oh,
the
you remember?
weird
You remember
with
Skinamax?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Late
and
night
I
Skinamax.
didn't
it
have.
was like
We
the
didn't
soft.
have that.
It was
We
like the
just had
softest core
HBO.
porn ever.
I didn't have it, but I had friends that had it, and that was always the like the late night. You know, you hope that like the friend you stayed over at the night's house, their parents subscribed to the HBO Cinemax
Oh, yeah.
Stars package. Because then when the parents went to bed and you're up late, you're like, sweet, you want to put on some Skinamax? It's 12:30, you know, and you'd sweet boobs on TV and softcore
'Cause
porn.
that's what it was. It was like boobs on TV, and then a guy like humping a girl from behind.
Yeah,
Probably
an
wasn't
occasional
even banging
scene
her.
where it went from a really romantic like Days of Our Lives plot to the actual like they didn't cut out the sex scene where they went to the room. They
Yeah,
were
it
like,
was like,
and they just kind of threw it. Boom, boom, boom. He takes his shirt off. You see his ass. You see some boobs,
Right.
and then you're like,
And
oh,
there's-
cool.
Right. She's moaning.
And now, yeah, they make a bunch of sounds. The audio files. That's what I'm like. I need to get into that.
The only Skinamax film that I remember actually watching, it was just like an incredibly like pasty white room. Just everything was like real white. The actors were just really white. Like everything about it was just like.
See,
it
I
was-
remember
it was
growing up,
weird.
HBO and Cinemax and Stars
Had, like,
were
a
channels
glow
that
to
you
it.
had to unlock, but you still kind of got them. So it was just they were fuzzy. They just weren't clear. You remember those days where it was like you just didn't get the clear channel of it, but it was still kind of there. So if you stayed up late and depending on the night, you would have this like glitchy Cinemax thing. It was like fuzzy, but half the movie was like bullshit anyways. You were just waiting for breasts and
Yeah, yeah.
and
And,
the
then that like
scene.
that one corner you can see a tit, and the
It's-
only reason you know it's a tit is because it's got like the nipple in
There-
it. And
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be like a whole titty. You're just like, there it is, I found it, the gold mine.
Yeah.
Like, where's Waldo? Prepubescence.
Well, and that was like the days of.
We should make a book that's Where's Waldo, but with titties.
But that was like the days of dial-up internet, where a page picture loading took 5 minutes for a picture just to like. It kept chopping down the
Yeah.
block. So fuzzy Cinemax late at night was like dial-up, dial-up cable, I guess at the
Oh, yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, it took like an hour to just load a single picture. I remember being young, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So Sean,
Oh,
it's trouble. You're in trouble now.
well,
I need to ask you a serious
I'm
question.
good at trouble though.
Need to-
I think.
Serious face. Put your serious face on.
Quit smiling.
What did you not give a shit about this week?
Ooh.
Yes, tell us of your apathy.
Your apathy.
No. No smiling.
Well, I feel I did not give a shit about non-progress in people's like action with words type of deal. I hate people that I get over. Let me not say hate because that's a strong word. I get over hearing people complain about things they don't take action in changing.
Oh yeah.
So when you love a lifestyle but you bitch about it all day, I don't give a fuck about what you have to say. And if you come back later and you're like, "Oh, I told you this though," and I don't remember, it's probably because I didn't give a fuck at all because I heard it last week.
Yeah, it's like one of our friends who will remain nameless because he hates it. He was really rude a couple days ago, and or actually a couple weeks ago, I think now. And he did this thing that I don't like, which is pinching my nipples, and it really bothers me. I grew up with two brothers who did that shit as a punishment for anything, and so I see red. So I yelled at him and punched him in the gut, and when he came back and tried to apologize, it was like, you know what, I really appreciate the apology, but I'm not going to accept it. I've heard this before. I'm going to hear it again. I know that this is just an empty apology, And honestly, it's kind of at this point the boy who cried wolf. So if you want to give me a great apology, something that I will truly appreciate, change the behavior that bothers me,
Yeah.
and then we can actually have a conversation about apologies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Because that's like that if you're not willing to change your behavior and you still do that kind of thing around me, that you know what to expect now.
Yeah, I've just got no time in my brain for
Yeah.
investment if I see the same repetitive action. And you know what I mean? It becomes a point where I'm like, and this is the third time. No, sorry. Like, my investment and mentality for that situation has now gone out the window, and I don't care anymore.
Mhm.
When I see a change, maybe I'll reintroduce something. But
Like I don't have any mental room to store your
yeah,
bullshit right now.
otherwise, I don't need to think about the things you're not even caring to figure out. Because why do I need to waste the time on helping you figure out something that you're not going to
It's like the
do?
opposite of a self-help book.
Yeah,
Assholes.
exactly.
Assholes.
Asshole, someone who's always asking for advice because they've got complaints, but then they don't ever take the advice and come back and complain and ask for advice again, and you're like, stop asking me for advice you're not going to fucking take. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, no, I don't actually want to. You're only asking for advice so that you can complain.
Yeah.
You know, you're not actually trying to improve your station. You know
What bothers
I mean?
the fuck out of me is as you're telling them, like, as you're giving them the advice that they're asking you for, when they start interrupting you, and it's like, yeah, but it's you, yeah, but you just don't, yeah, but it's not, and it's just like, it's not like that. You don't know the whole story, and it's like, well,
Do
then tell me
you
the whole
want my
story,
advice or not?
yeah, or get the fuck out of my face, because it sounds like you want my attention, and I got big boy shit to do, so the fuck out my face with that bullshit.
And nobody got time for that nonsense.
Hell no, Sam. What pissed you off this week?
Let's see. I motherfucking tried to do some laundry at the laundromat, and probably about 70% of the washers and dryers were out of order. So it took me, like, I had to wait.
Like 6 hours.
No, but 2 hours more, something like
yeah.
that, to get my laundry done. It was just like, and it should have just been like the one $7 like max load.
It's super
And
frustrating.
And now I'm using like the one $4.75 loader, and then like the $4 loader. So I'm in it for an extra $2 already. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck off with this shit. Like,
in a
and
town,
fix your shit.
in
like,
a town that needs a laundromat, where there is one and it's very obvious, it's like resourceful.
yo,
That
And
shit
this is
should
the
just.
season for travelers.
and that like this bullshit about like, oh, they're broken because there was weed like in the fucking, people put weed in like on their clothes, and that's bullshit, man. I've run washer machines with weed in them.
That's how many people have used the
Like,
washing machine to
that's the
make
thing.
weed products. That's
Yeah,
what
I
it's
mean,
like,
that's
and
like
then
how
to
you
wash
make
their clothes
production
later.
water
Yeah.
hash. You've like literally just put weed into the
Into the
washer
thing.
I've
machine,
used-
and then run it through the bubble bags, like out the other
Yeah.
end. Like,
I've
I don't know
used-
what to tell you. I mean, that's just like,
Day
yeah,
one
you should
stuff.
have it. You should have it probably in like a filter bag, but sometimes those filter bags like break open. Like the
Yeah.
washing machine doesn't stop. Like,
And-
it doesn't stop
and-
working. It
And a
doesn't get
laundromat
broken.
doesn't got you
No.
like
And
your
the-
household
Yeah.
H
Top loaders.
Yeah,
know,
like,
it
no, it's on like it's not got the Home Depot set brand that you bought on your economy budget. That's all you
No.
or your $150
No, man,
set
it's
you got from the pond.
they're like the high grade professional, like
they're like
it's
the industrial-
like
You're
you
meant
see
to wash
these-
blood and guts off of
Go,
them.
you see these motherfucking
Off
washing
with
machines at every every laundromat from here to New York, like, and everywhere in between. Right? This is like a standard company. I ain't never seen so many of their washing machines fucking broken. I can't understand how the fuck.
And in a small town, you think they got problems.
Like,
Go to
on
the
a
laundromat in a
Sunday
city in the
or a
ghetto or something
Saturday.
like that. You know,
It's Saturday. How many people are trying to do their laundry today? This is like your big day. This is like your big money day.
Yeah.
How many people walked in there and were just like, nah. Like, I'll wait. Like, I'm not.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I'll come
Oh,
back.
ask a
I'll come
friend.
another time.
if there's
like,
2 washing machines and 4 people in there,
I'm going to
done.
Weaverville
Like,
tomorrow. I'll just do my laundry
I'm
tomorrow in
rescheduling
Weaverville.
my laundry day. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that kind of frustrated me, to say the least.
Did you get your laundry done?
Yeah, I did, but it took me fucking a bunch
Oh,
of
that's
extra
right.
time and money.
Hell
Um,
He also had to fight 3 people, and
yeah, and like it's not fun to have to fight Hmong people because they're fucking tiny, but then they like it's like fighting a fucking like a character from like a fantasy
it's
story or
and
something. Like
it's abnormal because
you're just like, oh my god, I'm getting thrown across the laundromat now over fucking trying to get some socks clean.
yeah. $4.50, $4.75 worth of laundry.
Yeah, like $4 worth of laundry.
I-
Man.
I always
now
find-
I've got a broken wrist, and there's like small, stout Asian people kicking the ever-loving shit out of me, and I'm
I always
fucking
find
furious.
laundromats are really awkward simply because like you're in there with a bunch of people and you're all like the mentality in the laundromat is always the same. It's like, hey, how you doing? I'm also poor, and
Well-
it's really sucky.
That's why I like
everybody-
laundromats in cities because it's like you'll run into everybody in a laundromat.
So, and that's what I was gonna say. Is I used to enjoy the laundromat days when it's open and running and everything's going good and there's plenty of units for everybody to use. I looked forward to spending some time at the laundromat because you never knew who you were gonna run into. I've met a
yeah.
couple cute ladies there. I've had some interesting talks.
Me and my twin brother, when we were kids, we used to meet our friends there. Like,
Yeah, it's like
to play.
it's like sweet. We got a couple hours to the laundromat.
yeah, but you're
Let's-
from fucking Chico, so
yeah, it's a smaller town, but it's gonna remain anonymous.
no, like
Anonymous.
laundromats are like a cool place. Like you've got like a captive audience in a sense. Like well, like and you're all there. You have this already. You're like, oh, well,
Mind if I share the table?
Bro,
Real quick?
yeah,
I fold my
Should we
laundry.
go on a
Fold the-
laundromat tour, guys?
I mean, no,
Oh.
but laundromats should be a place to like socialize in a sense,
All right, so I guess
and
we
not just get beat up.
yeah,
You know?
it's definitely like a ghetto kid social
Well,
area.
and stop starting fights, Sam. Like,
I didn't start the fight. I just was trying to. I was
I
like,
was just a
it's-
participant.
Look, your fucking
Takes two
clothes
to
are
tango,
done.
bro.
I'm gonna take them out of the washer machine, all right? And I'm gonna put them in one of those rolling baskets right there. And I'm gonna use the fucking washer machine now. Like, what the fuck?
And then before you know,
and
it,
then
he's kicking the shit out of you.
You're gonna scream at me in a language I don't understand. Like, how are we gonna communicate? How's there gonna be any resolution? You know, it's not my fault. I just started swinging. Like, what the fuck?
All right, so I guess we got to pass the question because last question is going to be for you, Loren, which I believe I know the question.
Mm-hmm.
How
So-
are you a piece of shit this week?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Hard
I had
hitter.
to work yesterday, Saturday. It was shitty because Friday I decided to get drunk, and
Yeet.
in the last couple days I've been doing this to myself, especially this weekend. But I woke up Saturday morning bright and early at like 9, and I had to go to work. But I was hungover as shit, and I didn't do shit at work. Like I worked and like did like the menial stuff, the stuff that needed to get done. But I
You
was
fucking
just like,
slacked
I
all
had-
day.
oh yeah,
You were burning up
I was
paycheck.
just like, oh no, no, fuck my life.
Wasting your boss's money.
Well, not only that, there was like nobody there, no customers. Like it was just
Right,
boring.
nothing
It
happened.
was like so monotonous. There was literally nothing to do, and it was
God,
just.
you're
like,
such a piece of shit.
I know, I am.
But you could have went that extra mile.
You could have
Yeah.
fucking taken
You
that
coulda found
opportunity
that
to
thing.
organize.
Yeah, I know. But I was hungover.
all the little
Fucking
lazy day.
Clean, sweep,
Yeah.
rake.
Like,
Get the
oh,
leaf
wow,
blower
why'd
out,
this
clear
get
out
done?
all them
Oh,
fucking willow
We didn't have any
leaves.
customers yesterday, so I spent the day
Could you guys-
brightening up the shop.
If you guys could stop
you
pulling your
masturbate in the
punches, that'd be
bathroom?
great. If you guys could stop.
Did you
pulling punches.
masturbate in the bathroom yesterday?
Does anybody masturbate when they're hungover? No.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Really?
I look forward to that when I'm hungover.
I just don't.
Unless it's one of those like,
I don't think
like
about my dick.
blinding headache kind of scenario
Yeah, yeah.
hangovers where you're like, I can't move because like any extra blood pressure makes my eyes
like-
feel like they're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
fall
yeah.
out.
I just had like the normal headache, like the regular, not.
Well, like if I'm
mind
feeling it,
numbing.
I'm just gonna, you know, like.
Well, that's why
if
you
I'm
moved
in
to
the
blood
mood-
flow.
Yeah, and I wasn't in the mood, so
Okay, I'm just
That's what I'm like.
asking how much of. I'm trying to quantify.
How much time do you spend
I'm
masturbating at work, Lauren?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how
Much
How
of a
many
piece of shit you
hours
were on that day.
you've been paid for masturbating so
Ooh.
far in your life.
All right.
You know what?
Trivia of the week. Send in your response to P.O. Box
When did I
364,
lose
Black
control
Sheep and
here?
Bad Apples. How many hours do you spend per month masturbating at work? We'd love to hear it. We'd love to respond to it. Let us know.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And with that in mind, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be
How
right
did
back.
I lose control of what's going on here?
Words
But
from
before we
sponsors.
go to this sponsor break, this week we are talking about the difference between right and wrong. Is that true? Is that the top main topic of the week?
I heard tell
Yeah.
of the topic.
Yeah,
Right and wrong.
honestly, I'm just pandering.
Morality.
Morality, right
Yeah,
and wrong.
Yeah,
So-
that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. All right.
Podcast
Word-
of the
word from sponsors
year.
time.
As soon as we come back from our sponsors, then a nice topic about what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
Ba-doop, boop, boo.
We are just getting this in. Breaking news from the BS and BA desk. There are ducks on the loose. We've heard about many fatalities and several injuries. A couple nearby escapes, and they are wandering through our city right now. I'm going live to Sam Mitchell, who's on the scene. Sam, how's it going out there?
Loren, it's crazy. There's ducks everywhere, feathers in the air. I just watched a guy get carried off by a whole gaggle of ducks. I'm not sure if that's the correct. Maybe it's balding.
I think it's
I don't know, a skein of ducks if they're flying. I'm not really sure. It's chaos down here.
Are people being injured as they're being reported?
Well, it seems like there's many injuries. Rescue and emergency responders are having trouble getting in because of how many ducks are in this flock.
And I know FEMA has been called in. Can you tell me what the situation
I
is
haven't
like
had
on the
a
ground?
chance to talk to any of the directors or boots on the ground from FEMA or the military yet. It seems like they're going to be rolling tanks in or something. I don't know. There's a lot of noise going on. I got an eyewitness here. Sir, could I talk?
Yeah.
Sir, could I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, what you got going
Can
on?
you tell me what you saw earlier?
Man, I was walking down the street doing my laundry, eating a slice of pizza. This duck comes out of nowhere with a switchblade. Switchblade starts cutting. Give me your money, give me your cash, give me your change. What do you got going?
This duck was speaking English.
It was. I mean, as far as I'm aware, and as I communicated, the duck was communicating with me. And that night, I was not impressible about, so I just decided to walk on down the street until things got crazy. My buddy was there. Tell him about it. You know what was going on.
Man, they looked him dead in the eyes, in the windows of his soul, right before they plucked out his kidneys.
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy. He hit the ground like. I mean, bless his soul. Bless him.
Okay, thank you, fellas. So, Loren, as you can see, it's crazy here downtown. I'm not really sure when the authorities will be able to get this. Oh my God!
Oh, no! Commercial!
Are you tired of being happy? Are you tired of being chipper, cheerful, in a good mood at all? Well, there's a new product out there just for you. Never-ending sadness.
I tried Never-Ending Sadness, and it got me over my happiness. I am so grateful now that I am not happy.
With our team of scientists, we have a group of 5 of them that'll come over and just insult you daily.
I used to be happy, and that really pissed me off. So I started trying Eternal Sorrow.
My art was really suffering from my constant positivity. But now, as a very, very sad person, I feel like I'm flourishing.
Have you ever tried to achieve something and succeeded at it? Now, not anymore. Will I have to go through the feelings of feeling happy? Never unending sorrow. Thank you.
For a struggling artist in East LA, I thought I was never going to sell any of my artwork, but I plan on committing suicide thanks to Never-Ending Sadness.
I used to be a happy, chipper person. I used to think about all the accomplishments that I had made in my life. But now, I just sit at home and watch Netflix. Thank you, Never-Ending Sorrow.
Yo, this shit got too real.
She was a hard-working Waffle House waitress. He was a waffle iron.
It was a nice day at the beach when we went down there, but then it all changed.
Flo, we need a pot of black coffee. Quick.
How am I supposed to keep you warm in this cave? There ain't no electricity.
from Lifetime Television and Sad Sappy Shit Studios, As the Butter Melts.
Don't you yell at me again!
Martha!
Our love's forbidden, so is everything that's good. I love you, Jenny.
Oh, you're so light and fluffy when you get all warmed up.
The wind, it gets to me.
It's so cold out here in the East Atlantic.
It's great to smell that buttery flavor from across the room, I'll tell you what.
You know that's not Aunt Jemima. Coming in August, As the Butter Melts.
By Plothole Studios.
Welcome back to Black Sheep and Bad Apples. On this episode, we're actually going to try to touch on a little bit of what we find to be right and wrong. Before we continue with that, I do want to preface it with saying I don't really think that right and wrong is something that anybody can tell you is right and wrong. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, or whether you're a vegetarian or a strict carnivore, it doesn't matter. There's no right and wrong. I can't tell you what is or what isn't, and we need all kind of minds if we're going to continue doing what we're doing on this planet. So remember that what we're saying here is basically irrelevant. These are just what we think are the right and wrong decisions. I'm sure you guys will agree, though.
Do not try this at home. This is done by professionals in a studio.
Anyway, so
No, I do like that preface for sure.
Yeah.
This is definitely just our opinion on what we think a generalized right and wrong is.
and I don't think it's going to be controversial.
No, but everybody. That's why I'm like, I like that preface. That's a good one.
Yeah.
There is no right and wrong except that which the mind makes so.
Yeah.
Uh,
And the idea is that, like, leave room to be wrong, leave room to be right, and you just have to be you have to be aware that not everybody is at the same level. Some people don't want to hear it on that given day. Some people are just absolutely opposed to what you believe. Some people have better facts than you. And all these are different factors in the thing that we call right and wrong. And just follow your heart.
and socially, I think we have to create you have to create social morals to some degree or another, or else you lose the cohesive nature of a society,
Yeah.
right? So those I think that more than anything is where right, quote unquote, right and wrong come from. Much of those things that we think of as right and wrong are social constructs.
Yeah, the old moral question. That's the deep one for sure.
Right.
Yeah, and so let me ask you guys this. Do you like murder?
Depends on the murder, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Big fan of murder. Just
Huge
Well,
fan of
tasty.
murder.
But then there's the old, just to throw in the situation, eye for an eye. So, depends on the murder, but does eye for an eye save the world?
good question. So, if you guys, I'm gonna ask you guys this individually. Sean, I'm gonna start with you. If you were on a train, no, actually, we'll say you're on the train and you get to control in which direction your train goes, and you've got one person
I'm on the
anonymously.
train.
You're driving the train,
Driving the
right?
train.
And then you hear a radio call. It's, hey, there's one person on the tracks to the left, and there's one person, or there's 5 people on the tracks to the right. What do you do there? Because Sam's already said he's a big fan of murder. He's gonna try to maximize his death count. But you
Don't put words in my mouth.
but,
I mean, and I guess with just that, yeah, probably. I mean, numbers game.
Yeah.
Have to just generalize, take out the 1, not the 5.
yeah. What about you, Sam?
Without knowing more about the individuals, the logical the logical conclusion for say what's best for society, I guess. According to the moral code that we've been given, right?
Or conditioned to.
Or whatever, says that you hit the one person and not the 5 people.
Yeah.
That's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
Right.
Now let's flip that on its head a little bit. We're gonna
Well,
Scooby.
wait, what about
What
you?
about you?
What about me? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, we're trying to like
Do you
the
hit-
best amount of people to have killed by the time you died is 0. And so, like, if there's no choice, I'm gonna try to get as close to 0 as I can.
So generalized, yep.
Yeah.
If it comes to numbers only,
Yeah. But
It's
let me
one.
flip this on its head real quick. We're gonna Scooby Doo these characters. We're gonna rip off the ghost mask that
take
are
the
on their
mask
faces.
off. Yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
You've got 5 of the world's most evil people. People that have done some seriously heinous shit sitting on the track. And you've got a child saint. A single child saint sitting on the other track. And you get that radio call. What are you doing?
Ooh, but you know this specifically.
You know this specifically.
You're driving the train, and they're
like
like, "Yo,
you
these
got
are."
on and over the radio they were like that these people are just the worst. They are the pits, dude. That
bet-
one person, man.
We've been
Holy
trying to
shit.
defeat these 5 evil doers, and you have
Yeah,
the opportunity.
They're all villains from like superheroes.
Yeah, exactly. They're all just the villains of society, and you have the chance.
And then you've got the
as
child
the
hero
innocent
on the other
individual,
track.
but then there's also the child. Yeah, oof, rough one.
So
I mean-
how you switching it? Are you
Yeah,
What are you
that's
doing?
where I'm like, I feel like I'd have to go through with the other switch. Then I'd have to take out the evildoers and be the guy that took it out that couldn't pull the switch. Somebody's
Yeah.
got to pull the switch, and that was the person. And is he gonna get some flack for it? But probably. But that's.
I like how in this story you know all the details. Like you're still getting fired, but you're like
Yeah, I'm gonna
also
lose
got
my
the
job because I wrecked the train and killed people and all these
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But it's like that's gonna happen regardless. So
You're like,
who
I
do you
can do
take
it
out,
with
the
a
innocent
cleaner
child?
conscience.
Yeah, or do you feel okay with the fact that you just took out some wrongdoing? And yeah, I'd have to go with the wrongdoers on
Yeah.
that one.
What about you, Sam?
It seems pretty obvious. Like the answer is you take out the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
Like that would be like the socially acceptable thing to do.
Reason. Yeah, yeah.
Right. I'm curious. I would love like where's the fucking Dalai Lama to answer this question for us as
Oh,
well.
that'd be
Yeah.
You know what I
beautiful, yeah.
mean? Like, I want to hear a
You think we
different
can call him?
social. Yeah, probably. I want to hear somebody who's got a different like worldview, like a really different worldview, answer this question. But it seems obvious to me. Like, oh, here are 5 terrible people. Like, probably by killing them, you'll save many more people than.
User friendly answer is
Yeah.
definitely take out the evil.
Of
and
course.
The
Right.
And
the saint wins.
that's why I definitely agree. Take out the evil villains. But that's why like right and wrong is sometimes a little bit more ambiguous than we think because like we unmask these characters, and all of a sudden they become a completely different context.
Yeah, it definitely flips it
completely
because it was like a numbers game at first if you got no knowledge. But
Yeah.
what if that numbers
Then
game
it's a quality
was that it
game.
was an innocent little girl when you could have
This child would have grown up to cure
to
cancer.
be the
Yeah,
Dalai
exactly.
Lama,
Like the
you know?
golden
And these
child.
guys actually like plot bombings of like
But now,
fucking
On
Planned
cancer-
Parenthoods
cancer
and,
research. Yeah.
But
kids
with-
schools.
but when you-
Kids schools.
and
Aren't
that's
all
kind of
schools
the
for kids. Well, I guess colleges.
that is the interesting part of the moral sake is like what do you do in the position if you know or you don't know, and what do you do with that information? Because then it comes down to a little bit of moral judgment,
Right.
if you will, and that which we all have to make a judgment at some point or another because we're human. But where do you make that moral judgment that what you decide is right and wrong, and that's where it even gets more rooted is
I want to touch on
what
that a
is
little
what
bit, too.
is right and wrong with these evildoers based on the information that you're receiving
Yeah.
versus the saint that's on the tracks type of deal, the child saint type of thing. So
Yeah.
then you have to gauge as your own individual how you have to decipher information that you now know
Right.
versus information if you didn't know might be easier to pull the switch either way regardless of the outcome because you have no knowledge on it and you're just trying to make a decision, type of thing.
Yeah, because like, uh, you know, the what is right and what is wrong isn't super ambiguous. We all kind of know what's right and wrong. There is this gray area that we come into where it's like, fuck them, they aren't me. In the case of like the villains, like these people are bad people. Well, maybe I'm the villain, and like maybe I'm Magneto, and these are the X-Men, and so I deem them as bad people. And in reality, it's actually good. They're good people, and so we get to the stage of
Who's reality?
yeah, exactly. Well, and
Because
the thing that
Magneto is a great. He's a great like
yeah,
evil archetype because he's also like driven by that the the trauma of being in a concentration camp.
yeah,
So like you now you've got the that like now you feel
you
for
feel for him,
him,
yeah, and so
and he's
that
trying to protect his own.
and that's the issue
He's just
that
doing it in a way that is hard for society to accept.
and that's the issue that we come to that I'm trying to address is that this militarized justification for violence. Like we all know that violence is bad, right? And so when we have these ideals that deem other people lesser than or other than us or we or me, we come to this level where it's okay to act violently towards them because we're justified. Because these are just the X-Men on this track that I'm, trying to destroy or whatever. It becomes this justified violence, and I just want to address the fact that like none of us are really, we're not that big of an authority figure. None of us really know what's right and wrong in the sense of
We justify our own rights.
yeah.
and
But when we
I don't think
justify
any one
violence,
person is capable of being an authority figure on morality.
exactly,
You know,
and so that's where we have to keep
Ooh,
our
I feel
eye
like that's
on our
almost gonna be
ego.
a later episode topic. Just that.
I mean,
but
for sure
that'll be
that
fun.
there, you know, you look to people who have some moral codex that you find fits who you are in a sense, right? We accept this as being right and this as being wrong, and these are all philosophical on some level. They were all at one point a
Yeah, yeah.
philosophical, idea that was argued about, and then eventually society accepted this as being okay versus that being okay.
So before we get too deep, because I like that where you're going with that, and I want
Oh
to
yeah,
add to it a little bit. But let's pass around a couple
get
different
deep.
equations real quick, and then get to the
Equations.
roots
Right, we
of
got a couple more hypotheticals.
yeah,
to
a
go
couple
through.
more
Oh, okay.
hypotheticals, and
I was
then
gonna
we'll
say,
get
I'm
to
bad
the
at math.
root of this morality deal because I like where you're
Right.
directing that. So I guess my question is going to be is the what is more moral when it comes to the self person, yourself? If you were put into a situation where it was between you for a given reason and an amount or another person, either life for life or one life per multiple, I don't think it really matters too much in this situation, is would you push the button that would save your life but would kill somebody else or more people, or would you push the button that would save them but kill you? Or in that essence, you were going to die and they live, or they're going to die and you live, but you have the distinguishing choice between those two.
I would very reluctantly push the button to kill myself. Because, like, self preservation, like, my nihilism side is like, no, fuck them. I want to live self preservation. But then it's like, there's fucking 8 of them. They're probably better than I am because I'm a piece of shit. Kind of like 2 and 2 makes 4. Like, I get it. So, like, really reluctantly, I think I'd push the button.
To kill yourself.
Kill myself, yeah.
Okay, if it was against now, because there's two situations. One, if it was you versus one other person, unidentified, or you versus more than one person. So it's a life for a life, or it's a life for multiple lives. And then I'm going to redefine that just with the.
So you're asking me to answer both questions, life and a life. And,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Would it be the
Well-
same answer for both, if that makes sense?
I mean, context is everything. I'm just assuming that it's some sort of spaceship, and like, it's a very distinguishing button that you're pushing, and like, if it's me for another person, I can't honestly say that I'd push the button to kill myself. I think I'd try to save myself. But they'd have to. Again, I'm a piece of shit, so it wouldn't be that hard. But they'd have to be like a really good person, you know. They'd have to be like an
well,
engineer.
and that's on like
'cause
without
I'm not. So,
without
like,
context.
They have
Yeah,
to be an engineer.
That's-
is
well,
the
not an
qualification
engineer,
for a
but-
good person.
no,
but
no,
without
An
just
context,
engineering degree.
and
they have
that's
to be more useful than I am.
but that's where it's going to be the next little part of this before we switch to the next hypothetical is without knowing, you have no idea. You just know there's another person there. You can see there's a glass window. There's a button. It's either you or them,
self-preservation, baby.
but it's one person.
Nope.
But then you
Uh,
look in the room and it's 4 people.
So if I look in the room, and there's one person. I have no idea who that person is. There's no context. I'm pushing the button to save myself. Fuck them.
All right, but multiple
If
people.
I look in there and there's 4 people, I'm probably killing myself. As I said,
All right, yeah. So same thing, Sam. If it was between you and just another random person, or you and 4 other people.
so
I've
tough.
actually spent a lot of time thinking about this question because you mentioned it yesterday. And I'm not sure how I would react. It's like one of those things where I almost can't honestly address the question, like truthfully in my own mind, without literally being presented with the scenario.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody can. I would like to think that I would not randomly take anyone else's life in any number to preserve my own. Partially because I don't think that, like, this is all there is, you know, for whatever that's worth. Like, I don't feel like anything's alive or dead, really, you know, blah, blah, blah. But we're not getting into a metaphysical
yeah.
subject matter. But I really don't know. I really don't know. Like, I'm an animal at the end of the day. I'm a
A
the
genetic
only-
machine.
Yeah, I'm a gene machine, you know? Like,
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
I'm fucking here for. Life doesn't require anything from me, in a sense, other than to continue to live. That's, like, the point on some really rudimentary
yeah.
level. So I really don't know how I would answer that. I'd like to think that I could be the bigger person, and not be selfish. But I really don't know.
So
You know what I mean?
Sam on the
feel-
fly. 1-on-1. You versus someone else. Push the button or don't. 3, 2, 1.
I probably don't push the button. I think that I wouldn't. But I
What
don't
about
know.
what about you and 4 other people? 3, 2, 1.
No, I don't push the button. I'm not, like, if I'm not going to kill one person to save myself, I'm
So
certainly
that's
not gonna
what I
kill
was gonna
4.
say. In my moral talking about it mind, I feel like I would try and be the bigger person and allow whoever's on the other side to not have to make that decision. I will.
Oh
I
shit,
will,
they get to make the decision too?
no.
Oh.
Well, I mean, if it's you or the other, you know what I mean, type of deal.
I see,
I
yeah.
guess. Yeah. I'm gonna be.
They don't have a button, do they?
I'm gonna know, but
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
gonna
if they
be.
got a
the-
button,
They
I'm
had a
fucking
button,
hitting
though,
that fucking
they're
button.
dead.
Yeah,
Like,
fuck
that's a
them.
totally different story. Like, they have the option to kill me, or I kill them. Like, I'm gonna be hitting
Ooh.
that button super fucking quick.
Interesting. I didn't.
That changes it dramatically
I didn't
because
think
now
about
this
that.
person's not innocent. They're
Yeah.
Sorry,
They're-
we're
they're-
also getting sideways.
Yeah, all right.
Well, we won't sidetrack too far. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess. Then it comes down to the one other little part of this was, if you knew, and it doesn't mean evil or wrong. You don't know anything about these people, but it's you against a female, or opposite sexes on either side. You got to push because you're a male. You got to push the button, and it's a female on the other side, or it's 4 males.
Does she have a button?
No, same situation.
not one you get to push.
Does it make a difference in that
Ow.
situation? And where I kind of throw this is more of the population's sake. Does a female live and you die for that sake, or do 4 males die and you live, 1 male?
Are you addending with, like, we're trying to make sure that we've got enough people around?
I guess now that you just know a slight bit of, like, does it make a difference between male and
No,
female?
not at all.
So
With the given fact that you don't know anything about them, does actual sex involvement, your gender involvement, make a difference in the button pushing?
Like,
or is it still equal across the board?
I mean, at this point,
Throwing it a
I'm
little
separated
rough. I
from the
know it's
rest
a
of my
rough question,
species at
but-
the end of my fucking rope. That is irrelevant.
No. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know that that's relevant. But again, like,
Same. That's on like.
it's like
If
it's
she's
a
like
really
your wife or
difficult-
something, it changes things. But let's
Well,
not
yeah. We're
wander
not
down
gonna
that
go
road
too deep
far.
down that road. That's why I
Like-
was like, just straight. Does it matter if you
This is
can
the
see
ar-
through the window and you see that it's a female or a male?
Pushing the button, I stay alive.
Or does it make the same difference as if it was 1 or 4? Is where I was comparing. Does gender
don't know.
make a difference in that situation?
Nope, irrelevant.
I don't think so.
But yeah, in the
Yeah.
scenario, it might change.
But again, like,
That's all I was trying to.
I mean,
just,
if anything, it would probably make me more likely not to kill the other person because my social preconditioning of that, like,
that's
as
yeah,
a male, like, you're supposed to, like, watch out for women, and somehow just, like, that's, like, gets ingrained in you.
I'm just saying, if she's as big of a piece of shit as me to get in the position where we got buttons, like,
Oh,
neither of us are
no,
going to
again,
heaven.
in the butt, like,
No,
she's
yeah.
got a button, fucking, you're dead. You're dead.
But this-
I have such amazing
would be-
reflexes.
this
like,
would
you
be
have
equal-
No fucking idea. You're gonna be like halfway to that button and just die.
And this would be equal the opposite way,
Bitch,
where I
come
get
at
with
me.
that. Say the person with the button is a female, and there's 1 male on the other side, or 4 females. That's where I'm like, just a gender influence.
Yeah.
Does it make a difference if it's the opposite gender when it comes to deciding that button, or not knowing it all and just based on numbers? Does that influence the
It's
decision?
it's really based upon my own ego.
No,
It's not
that's-
based upon
yeah.
numbers. It's like, you know, if there's 4 people in a room, there's a better chance that they're good people than if there's only the 1 person in the room. That 1 person could be the worst. And so, like, I take the die roll, and like, if it's
Yeah.
me versus 1, like, fuck it, like, let's see if I'm the better person. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, it's like 50-50 at this point.
Exactly, yeah. Yo, one's
Whereas
gonna
with, like, 4 other
die,
people,
sorry.
you know, the odds go up 400 or 800% or however math works.
But when it's for the greater good type of deal,
Yeah,
like the
greater
numbers
good.
game. All right, yeah. So Sam, you got a hypothetical. I'm
I-
curious to.
I do have a hypothetical. So mine's a little more of like a. It's not very personal, in the way yours is. You're the world-class surgeon, right? In this hypothetical, everybody's the world-class surgeon.
Nice. I've always wanted to be a doctor.
Right. Me too. PhDBS.
Surgeon.
Bro, how much do I make a year?
Way more than you make now.
Yeah, a lot. Like definitely 6 figures.
Comfortable.
Fuck yeah.
Right. Comfortable.
I'm gonna send my mom money.
So, you're a world-class surgeon. You have 8 patients waiting for organ transplants. Each one needs a different organ. And a person comes in for an emergency appendectomy. And it just so happens that all of these 8 patients are the same blood type as this person. That person is a perfect donor for each one of these candidates waiting for an organ. Is it morally reprehensible to euthanize the person who needs the appendectomy, not waste the time to give them the appendectomy, simply harvest the organs that you need to save those 8 people? Or do you let those people die and just perform the appendectomy and send this other person home? And it's an average, segment of society. There's, 1 child and 1 old person and, 3 people in this.
It's a bell
range.
curve of society.
Yeah. Right. So, however society breaks down, it's a perfect.
But is it like if you don't perform surgery on the 1 person, they're gonna die?
Oh yeah, you'll die from your appendix bursting.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
you'll
like,
die without the surgery.
if they don't get this surgery here in the next X amount of almost the same time frame as the 5 people that need this.
Yeah, and they're in a ton of pain.
It's like this is gonna happen. but it's
Right. They're there. Their
I either-
appendix has already burst inside their abdominal cavity. Right. It will start to abscess, and they will die of a blood infection if it's not treated.
How long?
Days.
I feel
There's
like at
nowhere. There's nowhere else to go.
I feel like at that point, I feel like I would have to say that I would have to take the person in the more immediate need of care. In that sense, so if
All 8 of those donors will die in the same
five,
time period that this person would die in. So if that person would die, the person needing the appendectomy would die in 3 days. These people will also die in 3 days.
yeah.
You need this. There's no other donor.
What do you think, Sean?
Well, I guess the time frame would have to be different because if they all die at the same time, it doesn't matter who dies, somebody's dying, if that makes sense. Like, if I have to wait for this person to die, so I want to
Does that mean I have to kill the guy with the appendicitis?
yeah, and that's where I was like, otherwise I would
you have to euthanize the person with the needing the appendectomy.
Can I give a hypothetical?
You got to answer the question first.
All right. I took an oath, all right? When I became a doctor, I took an oath to do no harm. So, I'd just cure the appendicitis.
And I guess if he's not willing, like, you have to be dead to be willing to take your organs in a moral sense, if that makes sense. So, if I have to wait for you to die with the appendix deal to get your organs to give to the people and they're already dead by then at least I might as well save you because they're going to die by the time I would get your organs.
Right, but the question isn't wait for the person to die, do nothing and wait for them to die. It is
You
euthanize them.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, I don't think I could euthanize unless it was that, like, the guy's begging me to euthanize him type of deal, and then we could get further down that road. But
well, that's a totally different.
that's where I'm like, that's a whole different subject. So
Like
if I got to make the decision just to do that, then I would.
You're just going full Dr. House.
I would just have to fix the appendix. That's where I'm like, I couldn't just straight kill a person because I know, and that, you know what I mean? Like, if it was a different situation, I guess, where the guy was going to die before the other people, but I don't know, or terminally ill or some other shit.
Oh no,
like that.
this guy doesn't need to die. This person doesn't need
by the
to
way,
die.
By the way, under this context, we're assuming that it's without permission.
Yeah.
That means
Yeah, and that's what I'm like,
that
with-
means that you're gonna get your license revoked. Like,
Yeah,
you're
that's
gonna
on,
lose
like,
your
the-
job. You're not gonna be.
That's on, like, we could
doing
go down the
anything.
roads of what is considered appropriate, like suicide or legal suicide or something like that, but I'm not trying to go down that. If it's just unpermissible, like, I have to just kill this person to save these, nah, like, I'm fixing
Fuck
the
that.
appendix. At that point, like, organs go out, there's a multitude of population, people's things happen, and that's just the balance of life.
What about
And
you, Sam?
unfortunately, I know it, but
You gonna murder some dude, save a bunch of other people,
Um,
like Spider-Man? I don't know if he actually did that. I assume so, though. It's a moral conundrum.
given everything as it is, I'm a doctor. I've taken the Socratic oath. Our social moral standings say that you heal the person who's in need of emergency medical, the appendectomy, and it's unfortunate that these 8 people are going to die because you
Yeah.
can't harvest this guy's organs,
Well, that's the
this
key
person's
word.
organs to save them, but it's
That's the key word in it is harvest. Is that like
yeah,
I mean that's literally what you're
It's-
doing.
No,
You're-
exactly,
You're like
exactly.
euthanizing somebody to harvest their
yeah,
organs.
exactly.
because it's non-permissible. That's where
Yeah.
that moral
Right.
boundary comes in.
Right. So, yeah, I'm probably just healing this guy and feeling sad about these people.
Feeling really sad
Right.
about the
That
unfortunate.
the unfortunate situation. But you start addending the thing. This now this guy's actually a war criminal, and
Yeah.
these 8 people aren't a general slice of society. It's like 8 gifted 6 to 16-year-olds.
Mm.
Yeah.
4 boys, 4 girls. Does that change it? Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
definitely.
What if there's no Socratic oath? What if society, what if having
what if you're
more
ju-
people was an absolute necessity? What if we had a limited population? So we need more people, more than we need to protect individual people's rights. So like, getting into like
Yeah.
politics, not
Does
that I
that-
want to, or like
If
social
the really
things.
evil person on the table has all the organs to fix the 5 or 6 people that are really good people on the other side, does the doctor decide?
What if you're
whether
just
or
like
not-
killing?
Oh, there I go killing again.
There you go,
There.
killing again. Rick and Morty out November 10th.
Oh, Morty.
I think.
I'm
Might
not
be
gonna
wrong.
plug.
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 New season coming out.
New season.
So that was my hypothetical. I think all these hypotheticals, like there's the more
think-
specific the information gets about the individuals in the hypothetical,
Yeah.
the more like the easier it becomes to answer them.
Yeah.
I guess.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? Now we
Yeah.
can start to look for things that we've been taught and told and that society accepts
Yeah.
as being permissible or not.
Yeah. Would you ever kill anyone, Sam?
Would I?
Yeah. Just for fun.
Like just no,
Just for
no,
fun.
No, fuck no. I never want to have to do that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Because I'm pretty sure I've seen you do it.
bro,
How many hours do you spend killing people each week at work?
You know how
Yeah.
good his roses look?
What?
His bouquet of roses is beautiful.
there's a
It's-
strong likelihood that this will be the last podcast.
Oh yeah.
There I go, murdering again.
No, I'll just Jeff Epstein myself.
That looks like they both strangled each other to death.
Who knew? It was
Who
crazy.
knew?
Right.
They were
Right.
So with
equally-
that in mind, with what's right and wrong, do we got any beefs for the week?
Ooh.
I mean,
Oh, nothing feels wrong about this. Fuck Hobo Johnson.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure fuck
Like
Hobo
my
Johnson.
heart just
That's
tells
like
me
a-
that's the right thing to
It's
say.
a warm coat in a cold afternoon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It's real nice. Fuck Hobo Johnson.
fuck Hobo Johnson.
Ooh, corporate.
Corporate beef. I want to switch it up. Fuck PG&E.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
Uh,
PG&E,
yeah.
get your shit together.
I'm
Yeah,
so glad we're
PG&E.
here in Trinity County on T-PUD electricity
Go
generated
T-PUD.
right here.
Plug.
Plug.
Right here in Trinity County at our own very own hydroelectric facility.
Mhm.
They can everybody
Mhm.
else can just eat our fucking asses over it.
Oh, yeah. They would love to because they don't have power.
And do we have a word of the week?
Oh.
Word of the week.
I might have
with
done it
Dictate.
already. Might have done it already. Let me look at my notes. Shit. God damn it. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Pasiloquent. To be brief in speech.
Say it again.
Pasiloquent. Or maybe it's pausiloquent.
His speech was Pasiloquent?
Indeed.
His talk was Pasiloquent.
This talk was not pasiloquent.
Ugh.
Yeah, we dove into a lot of shit.
How that dictate.
How that dictate. By the way, since we're at the end of our show, I'll have you guys know that I don't masturbate at work. Actually, I masturbate at home
That's
before
weird.
work, like an adult.
That just means you have masturbated at work and you're embarrassed slightly about it because,
I mean, I work at home, so,
6 of one.
six
It's-
one, half dozen of the other.
yeah.
Sometimes I'm paying myself to masturbate.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Money in the pocket.
Well, I
Or-
guess with that,
Super hope my family's listening.
this has been Black Sheep and Bad Apples. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Is this
See
this
you guys all
right?
next week.
or is it wrong?
I The whole podcast is bad.
It's wrong.
Wrong.
We're
yeah.
right.
So Ron, it's right.
So Ron, you guys hear that crinkle in the background?
Barely
Ron.
ambiguous.
That's Ron making noise like a little panda.
Black sheep and bad apples.
He knew it.